As for when a C-130 is in need of a maintenance upgrade to preserve and maintain service life, the Air Force uses an assessment metric referred to as equivalent baseline hours. The wind boxes are changed once the aircraft reaches a certain severity factor in its operational service time. This is necessary because the wear and tear or impact of missions upon an airplane can vary greatly depending upon a range of factors such as the altitude at which a plane is flying, Toth said. The thing that causes the greatest risk to the airplane is the life of the wing. We monitor the wing of the aircraft, and as the wings get past their service life, we bring the airplanes back in and bring in new structures, with the primary focus being the center wing box, which is the area where the wings mount to the fuselage, Toth said. The Air Force remains vigilant about its C-130 fleet to ensure the airframes, wing boxes, avionics and communications systems remain safe and operational. This is particularly true of the older 1980s era C-130Hs, Toth added.
Good impacts, good impacts. Continue to engage, continue to engage.
Right now we're firing super slow because we're tweaking the guns in.
C-130 modernization. They are essentially a C-130J further modified with defensive systems with radar countermeasures and infrared radar and advanced sensors for specialized missions. They also can perform in-flight refueling, Toth explained.
Do we load before you do? No, I'm good.
Also, MiG-130Js are specially modified airlifters engineered to transport Army Green Berets, Navy SEALs and Army Rangers. The fleet consists of 135 more modern C-130J aircraft and 165 older C-130Hs which have been around since the 80s, Toth explained. There are probably missions that have yet to be dreamed up for the C-130, Toth said.
Got 3 deflected.
C-130s are used for domestic, international and war zone transport including homeland security, disaster relief and supply deliveries, among other things. It really allows you to do that tactical movement of equipment and personnel to take the airplane to the last tactical mile. A lot of our transport strategic airlifters are meant to go to a hard runway somewhere and then they turn over the cargo to be moved to the forward areas to a C-130 or a vehicle. The C-130 allows you to take that cargo and land on a smaller runway or an unimproved airfield, Toth added.
Your arm.
Yeah.
As a propeller-driven aircraft, the C-130s are able to fly and land in more rugged conditions and withstand harsh weather such as obscurance. The propellers make the aircraft's engines less susceptible to debris flying in and causing operational problems for the engines. The cargo planes are used to airdrop supplies, equipment, weapons and troops in forward deployed locations. C-130 fleet. The AC-130 gunships make up a small portion of a fleet of roughly 500 C-130 planes throughout the Air Force and Special Operations Command, Toth explained. In a recent attack, AC-130 gunships and A-10 Warthog close air support aircraft together destroyed an ISIS fuel convoy of more than 100 vehicles. The aircraft's 25mm Gatling gun, the GO-12, is the same weapon now on the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. The weapon fires both high-explosive incendiary and armor-piercing incendiary rounds against enemy fighters, buildings and light vehicles, Popular Mechanics writes. This piece first appeared in Scout Warrior here. The AC-130 Spooky II gunship is a standard C-130 transport aircraft engineered for close air support combat. Its 105mm gun, called AM-102 howitzer, fires 33-pound high-explosive shells at a firing rate of 10 rounds a minute, according to a report in Popular Mechanics. The weapon has a range up to 7 miles and is the largest gun ever operated from a U.S. Air Force aircraft, the report said. The Lockheed Boeing-built aircraft uses 4 Allison T-56A-15 turboprop engines, each with 4,300 shaft horsepower. The 155,000-pound aircraft has a 132-foot wingspan and hits speeds of 300 miles per hour. Its crew consists of a pilot, co-pilot, navigator, fire control officer, electronic warfare officers, flight engineer, TV operator, infrared detection operator, loadmaster and 4 aerial gunners. The aircraft is known for its 105mm side-firing cannons, which enable it fire from a side-axis position during close-in combat supporting ground troops. The AC-130 gunship also has a 25mm Gatling gun and a 40mm weapon, according to Air Force statements. The gunships, operated by both the Air Force and Special Operations Command, are often used to support special operations fighters on the ground engaged in combat. Early variants of the AC-130 gunship first entered combat in the late 1960s during the Vietnam War. Later variants served in the Gulf War, War on Terror and War in Afghanistan, among other missions. AC-130 gunship work involves upgrading the plane with weapons, targeting systems and sensor packages. Call Robert Toth, Chief of Tactical Aircraft, Special Operations and Combat Search and Rescue Division, told Scout Warrior in an interview. The historic, lethal and combat-tested AC-130 gunship, known for attacking ISIS and Taliban fighters during close air support high-risk combat missions, is getting a massive technological upgrade with newer weapons and avionics to increase the effectiveness of the attack platform and extend its service life into future decades, service officials said.